Hi, I'm Marie Eliam. I'm editor of Northeast Ohio Thrive magazine, and I'm the host of our magazine's podcast, ThriveTalk. And my guest today is Brandon Smith, and he is the public affairs specialist at the Social Security Administration office in Cleveland. And needless to say, he knows a lot about Social Security. And Social Security is honestly something that I hate to admit, I really didn't pay attention to a whole lot. I knew it was there, didn't really think about it. And then I turned 65 and I thought, maybe I should pay attention to this. And I dove into the world of Social Security. And I know when Brandon was doing, when you were doing blogs for our magazine on our website over the years, you always refer people to the website, get your account, check on your benefits, all of that. And I was like, okay, well, that seems good in theory. And then suddenly I needed to do it. And I was like, oh, I hope Brandon was right. I hope he wasn't just telling a bunch of lies. And you were right. And so I want to talk a little bit about what are some misconceptions people have about Social Security and mistakes they make, and also what they can expect when they are first looking at collecting Social Security. So I'm going to turn it over to Brandon because nobody wants to hear me talk. They want to hear you talk. You're the expert.
Everyone wants to hear you talk.
Okay.
And once again, I got to say this, and this will be somewhat self-serving. It is always fun being in your presence, being in person or virtual. So it's good. It's good seeing you. That $3 I sent you last week, it's paying dividends. So,
Yes.
so in here, as I will say this, there is no one size fits all. Okay, so what works for the widower who maybe has minor children may be a completely different thing than the career bachelorette who's taking their benefits at 70. So I think that's the one thing that people really need to realize. I've been doing this for a while. I've been with Social Security since 2003. Okay. So real quick, just a bit about myself. I was born and raised in Cleveland area. I grew up in Cleveland Heights. I was a Catholic school kid from kindergarten through 12th grade. I graduated from an all-male high school on Cleveland's east side called Benedictine.
Sure.
I spent a year at a historically black college in Louisiana called Grambling State. Then after a year, I did a reverse LeBron. He took his talents down south. I brought my talents back up north. I landed at the University of Akron. Go Zips. Go
Yes,
Zips.
Absolutely.
After I graduated, I got a job in the Catholic Diocese as a teacher. So I taught for 3 years in the Diocese of Cleveland, started Social Security out in our Middleburg Heights office in June of 2003. My old but running joke is the good thing about working out of Middleburg Heights is we were down the street from Krispy Kreme.
Yes.
The bad thing about working out of Middleburg Heights is we were down the street from Krispy Kreme. I was a claims rep. So I'd be the person people would come and see to apply for benefits. So retirement, survivor, spousal, disability, so forth and so on. And then I got a promotion to this position as a public affairs specialist in April of 2007. And I've been downtown ever since. And what I tell people is, I understand the thought that, well, my friend, my cousin, my sibling,
Right. Yes.
they're getting Social Security. So let me go talk to them.
Right.
Don't. And because as well-meaning as they may be, and even if they remember every single thing that they went through, they're telling you from their perspective. And their situation could be vastly different. They may have made thousands of dollars more, thousands of dollars less. Their health situation could be vastly different. So while they are telling you the gospel truth, they're telling you their truth.
Okay.
So what I would just tell people is, look, just, you call us or go on our website or get the information that's specific to you. So you mentioned it during the intro. First thing I would do is I would suggest that individuals create a free, secure, personalized My Social Security account. You can do that free of charge at our website, ssa.gov/myaccount. Now people say, well, why am I doing this? Why should I do this? Well, we stopped sending out the annual statement for everybody maybe a decade ago.
Mhm.
So if you're not in your 60s yet, you haven't gotten that annual statement in the mail in quite a while. But you can pull up that statement on our website via the My Social Security account. It gives you the opportunity to check to make sure that we have the correct earnings information for you. And I know sometimes what I'm saying catches people off guard, but if you really think about it, Social Security has no idea how much money you made in a given year. We know what was reported to us,
Uh-huh.
and it's guess what? Your earnings information is probably correct, but mistakes can be made. Somebody in the payroll department transposes a couple of numbers.
Right, right.
Maybe, maybe you worked multiple jobs and not everything posted correctly.
Mhm.
Or you'll see instances where, oh, I work for Marie. Marie is my boss, but you consider me to be an independent contractor.
Yeah.
So you don't give me a W-2, you give me a 1099.
Mhm.
Maybe I don't know what to do with it, or I just didn't pay attention to it. And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, Marie gave me my tax stuff. I'm like, well, I didn't open it up, so I didn't know that it's not a W-2 and that it's a 1099. So I didn't do anything with it, and nothing posted correctly.
Yeah.
You
That's
know, that,
that happens. I mean, it does.
yes, it
And
does.
it's good. I was surprised when I went on there because I remember you had make giving that advice, years ago. So of course I did that because if you tell me to do that, I'm going to do that. I trust you. And uh it was a lot of complete information, and then and it breaks down what you would get in your social security, if you decide to collect it, what year and all of that. So that helps kind of craft your future, depending on when you want to retire. And I also, and then they've also, once I started collecting, because I was one of those people who decided to get money as soon as possible, because it's so much money that I'm getting now. That then they adjusted it because I should get more based on my husband when he retired. So they were very fluid and responsive. Whoever was dealing with this at the other end, I was just very impressed with how seamless it all went. Like when people said they would call you, by golly, they called you. And it's been over the last year or two when things have been in upheaval and jobs have been cut and et cetera. And I found that the dealings with the Social Security people were really spot on. I was impressed that this was a government agency that seemed to know what it was doing. I've been impressed.
Okay, so now that $3 that I gave you is paying
That's
dividends.
I think now we
Um,
should bounce it up to $10.
yeah, but and I'm going to be as neutral as I can, but of course, I'm always going to be a little bit biased because I work here and
Sure.
I see what my coworkers and colleagues, do on a daily basis, and what I did for many years when I was interviewing the public. Here's what I've sort of observed. For most people, you contact us, you apply for benefits, you start getting the benefits. There's no hiccups,
Right.
and you're in the process of applying not that long, and no one is really aware. Oh, hey, Marie, you doing okay? Yeah, I'll let you know. I started getting my benefits 6 months ago. Wow, wow, wow. You didn't say anything. Well, really wasn't much to say. I either did it online and I started getting checks, or I scheduled the appointment and they
Yeah.
interviewed me. It's the individuals where there might be a hiccup. Maybe we couldn't reach you because you had scheduled an appointment and now your phone number had changed, or you had gotten sick, or there was a family
Yeah.
issue and we were sort of playing phone tag with each other, or maybe there was an issue at the office, there was a power outage, there was a storm, natural stuff happens in life. So that person, wait a minute, I've been trying to reach Social Security for 6 weeks. What's been going on? Well, your your office had an electrical issue, or there was a natural disaster, or you have been sick, or you've been ill. Well, that person is going to tell more people about their struggles, which sort of permeates out to the public that, oh my goodness, everyone's having this issue. Like, no, I mean, when I go get my updated driver's license, I know what I need to bring because I've checked out the website.
Right.
And I schedule an appointment, or you can sort of, call or go online to get a spot in line. I don't have any hiccups versus if I just, I'm just going to run up there 5 minutes before they
Yeah,
close
right.
and I'm going to bring my library card. Well, that's not, so most people, they apply, they get their benefits. There's no bumps in the road.
Yeah.
But
The only
that's, once again, the same with life.
Well, even, and I, believe it or not, messed up, because I was covered, not to get too far into the weeds, but my husband was retired, but we're still covered by his insurance. So when I went on Medicare, I was like, well, I guess all I need is Part A. I don't need Part B because I didn't want to seem greedy, or I don't know what. So then, so I got my Medicare card. It said Part A, but apparently I should have applied for Part B also at the same time. So I had to backtrack and do some things. And whoever I talked to and the people online were really, really helpful and walked me
Hmm.
through it. And it was not a big deal. I felt just stupid. And then, in
No.
fact, I just kept telling myself, well, I know people dumber than me have done this and they do it. So it's got to be doable. And it was helpful. And like I said, the people were very, very helpful. And then things went through. And if there was a glitch, they notified me. And so that was a really positive experience, all of that. So
Yeah, that was the same general philosophy my wife and I had when we had kids.
yeah,
You're, as a new parent, the weight of the world is on you. But if you sit back and say, wait a minute, billions of people have had kids
yes,
before.
yeah.
I may not be the smartest and the richest, but I'm not,
I'm not the
you
dumbest.
know,
Yeah.
not the dumbest. So I will figure it out. And what I tell, something I've been telling people, especially in 2025, when it comes to Social Security, you're the star of the show. Oh my gosh, they're going to ask me so many questions. Yeah, but those questions are probably going to be about you. Once again, you're you're
Right.
the you're the main you're the main attraction.
Yeah,
You
right.
know.
You're the one who has the answers. Well, the one thing that I am wary of whenever I was trying to get answers, and invariably I go on in the middle of the night because I don't sleep. So I'm like, and I'm very wary of scam sites. Like, I don't want to accidentally get to a scam site or give information to someone who's not really with the Social Security Administration. So, how are ways that people can protect themselves from inadvertently stumbling on scam sites, responding to weird text messages? I mean, what are some things that to watch out for?
So as adults, you surf the web in whatever manner you feel comfortable with. But if you're trying to get clear, concise, and accurate Social Security information, you really would want to go to our website.
That's it, period.
Now, mind you, now, once again, are there other sites that have clear, concise, and accurate Social Security information? Well, sure. But I work at Social Security. We are the Social Security Administration. We want you to go to our website, ssa.gov.
Okay.
That is the official government website of the United States Social Security Administration. That is the website where you can apply for your benefits, for Social Security benefits with the Social Security Administration. As far as the other points, Social Security is not cold calling individuals for
Okay.
information. We're not texting you out of the blue for information. If you're not on Social Security, we probably don't know your phone number, your cell number, your address. We have no reason to contact you.
Okay.
So you think about it, have you initiated a contact with Social Security? In other words, did you call a local office? Did you call the toll-free national number? Did you initiate this contact? Well, if you did, you may get a call back because maybe you had to leave a message, or maybe the person you were trying to reach was out of the office, or they were busy, or they were unable to help you at that moment, but then they call you back. We do have a system where maybe you call someone at Social Security and you need these forms? Well, we can send it to you via email. We can text it to you if that works for you as well. But once again, you're the one that initiated
Okay, so it's
the
possible
contact.
to get a text from the Social Security
It is
Administration.
possible. Yeah, it's possible, but it's because you
I
initiated the
asked for it.
contact.
Okay, all right.
My and this is for I'm 50 years old. My concern is that there might be very well-meaning adult children who, reach out to Social Security for information and maybe say, hey, can you send this information to my parents or can you do this? But they failed to tell their parent that they did this. So then the parent is wondering, well, why did I get this message, or why did I get this
Right.
brochure or booklet in the mail from Social Security? Well, it's because your child maybe called us and we didn't disclose any information, but maybe they just said, hey, look, can you mail out this form? They was like, yeah, we'll mail it out. What's the address? And they give us the parent's information because that's where they want the form to go to. And then
Okay.
the parent panics because, like, wait a minute, I got this form out of the blue. No, because your child called and asked for it.
Okay.
So I would tell very well-meaning adult children, don't do that. I mean, make sure if you, I once again, I get it. I fight the urge to help my parents with technology all the time and other things,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't go to I wouldn't buy a phone unbeknownst to one of my parents and then say, hey, I'm going to pick you up, and then go to the cell phone store to, hey, set this new phone up for my mom or my dad. I'm not doing no, I'm not doing that. And once again, your heart is in the right place, but
Mhm.
you got to make sure you clearly communicate that. But assuming that isn't the case, for the most part, you shouldn't get any official correspondence from us unless you've initiated it. Now, if you're receiving Social Security benefits, well, you're going to get, depending on what you're collecting, you're going to get a 1099 every year for tax purposes. You're going to get a benefit verification letter. And depending on if you're getting like a disability benefit or supplemental security income, which is a federal needs-based program, we're going to periodically review your information. So we would send you a packet. Hey, you've been on disability for a couple of years. We're just doing this medical review. We need you to fill in this information, get it back as soon as possible. And I get it. It feels like this is coming out of the blue. Well, that's because you've been getting benefits, and we need to do this periodic review of your benefits.
The one thing I was surprised, I don't know why this surprised me. I was like, yeah, I get frustrated when there's like common knowledge out there and someone says, well, nobody told me, and I'm like, well, I mean, there is some burden on you to discover stuff, and I'll put myself in this category. I didn't realize, or I didn't think about Social Security benefits being taxed. And then so our tax person said, well, make sure you have them take taxes out so you're not surprised. So we did that. And I was like, oh, well, I guess that was one of those things my friends who take Social Security, they never mentioned that. And I thought, oh, all right, that was something surprising. And then the other part was, once again, and you'll probably be like, how dumb is Marie Eliam? But I didn't realize that there was a charge for Part B of Medicare and that's deducted also from your Social Security check. And I don't know why. It didn't occur to me. I think because I didn't think I was using it, because we're getting it through my husband's union and he's retired. I don't know. I guess it all kind of blurs. And is that just naive or stupid on my part, or are there other people who are surprised by those two things?
I assume that there are millions of people like that. People are, you live in life, and
I'm so busy.
everything. You're busy. People are
Too
busy.
busy to think
People are
about.
busy. People are busy. And like I turned 50 early this year, and AARP made sure to send me something in the mail. I got
Yeah.
offended, and I promptly ripped it up because I'm still very youthful.
Yes,
Very
you are.
youthful.
I thought you
But
were in your 20s. Yes.
mentally, I am. Well, actually, I'm in my teens mentally. But yeah, I mean, people, you're living life. You're, roof over your head, food on the table, clothes on your back. You're living
Yeah.
your life. This is something. Well, I'll get to it later. It's something later. But the problem is, later happens really quickly.
It did.
You blink. For most people, they may not. Medicare may not be on their radar until they turn 65, and all of a sudden they are bombarded with stuff in the mail. But what you got to understand is you're just on a mailing list. You're of a certain age. They know your address. They're sending you stuff. That stuff isn't specific to you because the entities that are sending that stuff, and they don't know if you're, wait a minute, she's still working full time with great health insurance, or this person's been, on disability for 6 years. Or
Right,
this person plans
right.
on leaving the United States and going to a country where they don't need to worry about certain healthcare responsibilities. So no, don't feel bad. I would say though, like getting stuff in the mail when you turn 65, that is sort of a flashpoint for you to, well, let me sit down and at least see what's up with me. You know,
Yeah, it is because it's something that's out there in the, whatever. It's like you don't really think about retirement or pensions or
oh
anything
sure,
like that until all of a sudden it's like, oh, so and so's retired. Oh, well, how did you do that? Like, I don't know. It's one of
yeah.
these until it happens right to you in the moment, you don't think about it.
And I'm sure there are people who work with a financial planner as early as their mid 30s, not properly. They are plotting and strategizing over when to take the benefits. Some people, hey, uh, I'm off today. How old am I? I'm 67. As the kids say, 6'7", 6'7", and I'm gonna go apply for benefits. Everybody's situation is different. I
Yeah.
can't. People say, well, when should I start? When should I start? Looking at it. I mean, now, as far as just your amounts, why
Yeah.
not? With the My Social Security account, you can go online, you can pull up your statement whenever you want to, you can get your benefit estimates. Uh, 10 minutes a year.
Yeah.
10 minutes a year. Because my concern is the person who, hey, it's December now, and I know for a lot of people that week between Christmas and New Year's feels like a natural time to retire.
Oh,
And all of a sudden they're like, well, you know what? December 24th, New Year, Christmas Eve, I'm out of here. Like, all right, did you apply for benefits yet? No, no, I didn't. Let me go look. Wait a minute, they're asking me about my wife's social security number. I don't know what it is. Hey, Beth, what's your number?
yeah.
Oh, okay. You need my routing and account number? I don't, and it's the same thing with the trip. If you're going out of town for a trip, especially if you're going overseas, you don't wait until you get to the airport to start checking your pockets for your passport or
Okay.
to see, oh my God, it expired and I'm about to go to Barbados. Well, you're not now.
Yeah.
So, you know, uh, for some people, it's going to be a couple of weeks. Some people, it's going to be a couple of months. Some people are going to want to get that ball rolling a couple of years at a time. Because it's not, forget about Social Security. They need to figure out what, if any, other sources of income am I going to have going forward.
Yeah.
You were never meant, and you've heard this before, Social Security was never meant to be your sole source of income, but for a lot of people, it is.
It is. Yeah.
We were that good old three-legged stool, which doesn't exist for some people, but
Right.
hopefully with savings and pensions and annuities and investments and Social Security, hopefully the combination of those, and
Mhm.
also a lot of people always want to know, well, how much money do you think I'm going to get, or my buddy said he's getting this, and I'm like, you know what, it doesn't really matter what your friend is getting, be it 900 or 2,000. Not so much what you get, it's what do you still owe.
Yeah.
If the kids are healthy and out of the house and the house is paid for and knock on wood you're healthy and you have very little debt, then maybe you could take it a little bit earlier because you don't need quite as much per month.
Mhm.
For some people you can wait as long as possible, but if your kid still wants to go to that private college and you still have 5 years to go or 3 years to go on your car note and you still want to get the new roof and finish the basement, you may need to continue working because your financial needs are going to exceed what your current
Yeah.
income is.
Yeah. And everybody goes into retirement with different goals.
Yes.
They have,
Yes.
some people, have want to move or do something different. Some people want to stay put and live the way they're living now, and other people want to travel. It just depends. So that's all interesting, Brandon. I
The
think.
last point, yeah, the last, I mean to cut you off. The last point I'll say about this before we move on is think about it in terms of like a vacation, because it's so easy to look at someone else and try to keep up with the Joneses. Someone says, hey, you got a friend, a buddy, man, we just went to, Rome and we went to Athens for vacation. We had a wonderful time. And, like, oh, I got to go there too. And you start thinking, well, do you want to fly? No, 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 I'm deathly afraid of flying. Oh, okay, then you're probably not going, which is, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people treat us as if we are the experts on what their life path should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're not. We can't. Just like if you were going to a travel agent and they were saying, well, you're not going to go to a travel agent and say, hey, book me a vacation. But they're going to say,
Right.
well, where do you want to go? What's your budget? How long do you want to stay? What mode of transportation do you want to take? How much are you willing to spend?
Yeah.
You, maybe I want to go to Manhattan. Well, Manhattan, Kansas or Manhattan, New York, different places with different, positives and negatives. So you really, like I said, you really just need to be an expert on yourself. You need to know your name, your social security number, your date of birth. You need to know your marital information, name of spouse or spouses, social security numbers, dates of marriage, dates of birth. If you have minor children, disabled adult children, we need to know about that because they could potentially be eligible for benefits. What are your work plans? Because depending on how old you are, there might be a limit to how much you can work and earn and still receive
Right.
benefits. And what is your routing and account number for direct deposit purposes? And everything doesn't need to be written in stone, but you have to have a general idea. Because
Before you,
when you say I don't know, hey, what's your wife's number? I don't know. How old are your kids? I don't know. What are your work plans? I don't know.
yeah, go get the information and then let's
Right.
circle back and then
Yes.
Social Security people can help you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's,
Like in that movie, help us to help you.
yeah,
Correct.
right. Well, Brandon, you've given some really good tips on getting started, and Social Security is can be a little complicated or a little daunting, but I do think that when people hop on the website and get their account and do that, that really kind of brushes away all the cobwebs, and it's nice. It's a very user-friendly platform. And once again, I can't say enough about the people I've dealt with and who've called me back and have just been really on the ball. So I'm I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
the agency
Well,
and all the,
yeah. And I get it. Some people, it's some of it's generational. Some of it's just up to the individual. You've got some people, they want to do everything in person. I'm gonna I'm gonna shop in person. I'm gonna do this in person. Nothing online. Some people, I'm gonna do everything online. Some people, I'm gonna do everything on my smartphone. I
yeah,
get
yeah,
it. Like for me, like I think my parents. My parents are both born in the '40s. They're baby boomers. They have smartphones. They have the internet. But when it comes to like some bills, my mom likes to write checks because it gives her an excuse to walk down the block to get her steps in and drop
yeah,
it off in the mailbox. I pay primarily everything on my phone. That
yeah.
works best for me. What I would say when it comes to Social Security, you can go to the website to get the information. For some people, it's going to be a bridge too far to apply for benefits online, but at least you can gather all the information
Mhm.
online. You can apply online, once again, SSA.gov. You can apply for retirement benefits. You can apply for spousal benefits, meaning on the record of someone that's still alive. You can apply for disability benefits, and you can apply for Medicare on our website. You currently cannot apply for survivor benefits on
Okay.
the web. So once again, let's just say, hey, you got a 64-year-old, maybe they're not married, no kids. It's just going to be them. So there's going to be no spousal, no survivor. It's just going to be them. That person can probably do most of everything on our website. They can apply for their retirement benefits on our website. Depending on how old they are, they'd be automatically enrolled in Medicare. They can request a replacement Medicare card via our website. They can get a replacement 1099 on our website. They can get a replacement Social Security card on the website. Um, that's probably the first place a lot of people should go. Now, if that isn't something that you feel comfortable doing, because there is a digital divide, call us. Our toll-free national number has not changed my entire career. It's still 1-800-772-1213. That's 1-800-SSA 1213. That
Okay.
number is staffed between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can talk to a representative and they can answer your basic questions. But I would, and I say this is for the audience. You got to be careful when you're asking opinion questions or advice. Like I tread lightly when someone asks me a should versus a can or could question.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
Good. Good advice.
Should I take my benefits at 62 or 70? We can't answer that.
It
We can't
depends.
answer that.
Yeah.
Depends. Depends on your needs, depends on your health, depends on your pure
Oh,
desire. When do you
yeah.
want the checks to start?
Yeah. And how long are you going to live?
That you see, you stole the word right out of my mouth. The one thing that you would need to know to make the most informed decision is the one thing none of us know, and probably none of us want to know: when you're going to pass away.
Yeah.
I mean, as daunting as that would be to know, if you knew that with 100% certainty, yeah,
Yeah.
I got 34 more years to go. Well, then you can kind of calculate how many checks you would get depending on what age you would be.
Yeah.
But since that's a great unknown in life, you weigh the pros and the cons, and you do whatever you feel is in the best interest for you at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the
I'm sure
ultimate question. The
ultimate
ultimate
question.
question. When will I die?
Yeah, I'm sure there are people that took their benefit at 62, and before they knew it, they're still completely lucid at 97, and
Yeah.
they said, "You know what? If I knew I was going to be here this long, I would have waited." But you didn't know,
And you
so
didn't
you
know.
did whatever you didn't know.
Yeah, you
We
didn't
didn't
know.
know.
Well, that's that. I think death is a great way to end this conversation.
Yes, yes.
Just so such a sobering way to stop. But Brandon, thank you so much. Brandon Smith with the Social Security Administration in Cleveland, lifelong Clevelander, and
Yes.
also a very informed person about Social Security. So we'll have this on you can watch it on YouTube and also on our website when I get it uploaded. And Brandon, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. And we need to do this again. So I want to see more of you in 2026.
You
So
do
we
need
should
to
do
see
this
more.
again. Yes.
Everyone needs to see more of me. That's exactly right.
With I plead the fifth because there's nothing else that could be added to that statement.
Hey, you take care, Brandon.
You
Thank you
too.
so much.
You're
All
welcome.
right. And let me